For the Project 3 assignment, I've decided to tackle some things that I've struggled with before, exercising them in a very basic and elementary way so that I can understand them further. The gist of this project is that I've added a asset. It's a kill trigger with a hitbox. When the player interacts with it, the game kills the player and disables the movement, but also it simulates the physics of the mesh and enables a ragdoll. Now, despite this simple execution, doing this has provided me with ways of understanding some things that I didn't really understand well before in the blueprints. For instance, I'm pretty sure that this would be my first successful and flawless use of the cast 2 blueprints, where I have created a function, an event rather, that plays out in the third person character blueprint. You can see that it is meant to display a text that says that the player is dead, and then simulates the physics of the mesh, and then deactivates character movement. I then took this custom event and was able to use it through a cast 2. This is a tool that I've always had problems understanding and using. Never been able to quite successfully, comfortably use it. But after this project, it's a little bit easier for me to understand on how the cast 2 blueprint works and how it interacts between different blueprints and event graphs and classes and such. One other thing that I had to overcome was the default physics asset of the mesh. It was a little bit loose. Limbs would sort of collapse on themselves. Otherwise it just wouldn't really look realistic. A limp mesh, I suppose, if it was supposed to resemble a real human body, it wouldn't really contort in the ways that it would. So instead I've had to create and assign a physics asset, and through some careful examination I've been able to assign this mesh, the third person, to the correct physics asset that I've created that makes things a little bit more realistic, as you can see here. Putting it all together, we have a simple and easy, efficient kill trigger. This gives me the idea of adding a animation before the ragdoll sets in, where once you step on the kill trigger, a certain death animation will play, and before the animation is completed, the mesh will then go into ragdoll states. Unfortunately, right now there is a problem with importing and exporting rigged models to and from Unreal Engine. The Blender add-on that I've been relying on is going through a lot of developmental changes and updates, and things are currently offbeat and not working as intended. For what it's worth, on paper it should work. I have the idea all set, and most technical hurdles have been listed and ironed out. It's currently just a matter of waiting. Ragdolls have always been a more immersive way of displaying a death. Due to games having now much more complex geometry and landscapes, it's kind of unrealistic to try and get by with just a simple death animation and a death pose. Now it's pretty much standard in the industry now to basically use ragdoll technology that can interact with any geometry and any terrain and environment in an infinite amount of ways to add a unique experience to the player. The thing that I'm trying to do now is a thing that only a couple games do, which is add an animation to it before it completes.